podcast day.
It's podcast day.
It's podcast day. And we have a special guest. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome to the heyBrownBerry YouTube channel. I'm Marceline, and our special guest is
Jessica Schwab.
and an airplane to somewhere. Welcome in. On today.
Oh, big ass eagle. Holy crap. Holy crap. Big ass something.
Eagle sighting. We want the light to cooperate with us. Okay. I sit back here and then it knows what to do. Welcome to the heyBrownBerry YouTube channel. As I said, my name is Marceline and I am thrilled to have you here. It is my birthday weekend. Let's just put it out there. And my bestest present showed up on an airplane. This is Jessica, owner operator of Cascadia Woolen Works. She has decided to spend my birthday weekend with me, and we have been having a time, let me tell you. We're sitting out in my backyard. We have a fire going, the intentional kind. We set that on purpose so we could sit out here and relax a little bit this early Sunday morning. Well, it's not early anymore because we've actually been at work out in the yard already. So we're enjoying some tea. I have a lovely, this is white, Kenyan white tea from Jess Tea, a company I can recommend and that I was introduced to by Jess. So we'll put their information in the description box below. In my remembrances pottery mug.
And some lemon balm.
And
from your
some
yard.
lemon balm from my yard. Just discovered after a couple of cups of this tea that it is enhanced by lemon balm, and I must agree, tastes pretty good. What have you got? What are you drinking?
Kenyan black tea with some cashew milk, which is delightful.
Another
I'm on my
lovely.
fourth or fifth cup because my body still thinks it is 3 hours earlier than it is.
Yep.
But I'm catching up.
Yep.
Catching up.
She did that West Coast to East Coast haul. Yeah, well, cheers. We'll do a cheers.
Cheers.
Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
I picked up Jess from the airport and I said, I think I want you to be on my podcast. Pretty please. And she said yes. So here we are. If you've been here before, you know that this is a making channel. I like to share my making journey. Mostly knitting, some spinning, crochet, honestly, whatever project has caught my eye lately. So I thought we would catch up a little bit, share some things with you, and share a bit of our weekend with you while we enjoy some outside time.
Because when it is this woman's birthday, she gives you gifts. So we have been spending our time making things, getting up to some scientific dye pot nonsense.
Ooh, yes, we'll share that. We'll share the outcome of that. Yes. But you see, that's how that makes me feel. That means we're birthdaying properly. And yeah, we've had some fun natural dyeing. I've shared some natural dye adventures on the channel before. I'm fortunate that I have easy access to some of my favorite natural dyes, things from my pantry like onion skins and avocado pits. But this weekend we played with some dye extracts. In particular, we played with some kuch, which is an extract from some wood bark. I got that from Maywa and hadn't used it for a while. And Jess had a project that she was working on that you'll see in an upcoming clip. And she wasn't too crazy about the original color of the yarn after trying it on. Not quite in your aesthetic, right?
Yeah, it was a little muted, a little muddy, you might say, and we thought we might either try to brighten it up or just shift it totally to a different color that I will wear more, that I will reach for more, because that's the goal, is to love the thing that you made.
That's right.
And think, well, you don't have to give up on it. You just toss it in a
Shift
dye
it.
pot
Just
and see what
change it.
happens.
Just change it a little bit. And I mean, don't threaten me with a good time. I love the idea of a handmade souvenir from our time together, and so yeah, we put it in the dye pot. But before getting to the color that Jess thought she might like better to wear, we had some fun experimenting. We played around with different dye proportions, different dye materials. One of the things I love especially about natural dyeing is that you can shift a color completely based on pH level, based on concentration amounts, preparation time. You know, we got to see in a span of a couple of days how heat, how time, how acids or bases affect different dyes. So that in and of itself was a lot of fun.
It is scientific in a way, but I think we come at it from a playful perspective,
Totally.
which is the way we both cook, which is
Yes,
let's throw
that's a
some
good
things in and see how it happens. See
Yep.
how we like it. Don't like it? Add some more of this. Try that.
Exactly. No, that's an excellent comparison. We both enjoy seasonings, different types of cuisine. We like trying new things, and that fits really well, I think, into our making world. It gives you a view into why we get along so well. And the dye process, when you're not too precious about it, can really unveil some magical things. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, neither of us is super precious. If we make color, great. We won.
Check mark. Yeah, so, you know, playing around in my kitchen with someone else is also really nice because you sort of bounce ideas off of each other and always have a second opinion. That was fun too. So yeah, we'll share in a clip what became of Jess's project. And then why don't we talk about my birthday presents that Jess brought. I will insert, as I'm talking about this, some close-up photos of gifty that Jess brought for me. Let's start with the gifty that I'm wearing because we want to shout out this maker as well, Cascadia Jewelry. These are my new earrings. I love them. My second pair from that maker. Thanks to this one, I've just been introduced to some really cool artisans. And yeah, Jess brought me another pair of my favorite type of earrings, which are dangly, sparkly, handmade. That's sort of right in my aesthetic.
She's from the Pacific Northwest. She's a very talented metalsmith. I have a ring on that's from her, so she does, you know, set in stones as well. Highly recommend if you like, you know, simple but still very elegant jewelry. And I will mention that she's going through a tough time right now.
Yes.
And all the love and support you could show to somebody like that in the community is very important.
If you feel like a little bit of extra communitying this holiday season, I will put the link to the Cascadia site in the description box. That maker could definitely use some extra love from any and all who are able. And yeah, we are pretty good about being intentional when it comes to some of the things we purchase. Jess has certainly opened up my world to other makers because we live on different coasts and we have our circles, so it's nice to exchange that info too.
Yep, and
That's
likewise,
always fun.
absolutely.
Yeah. Jess, as I said, is a mill owner in the Pacific Northwest. If you're one of my Instagram friends, you've seen me talk about Skagit Wool and Works yarn and that mill. We had the pleasure of touring the mill as part of a retreat group a few months ago in the spring, and you guys are doing a great job.
Thanks.
They're doing a great job. They're doing the wool work that we need and really connecting producers, consumers, lovers of fiber, and not just in the traditional roving and yarn milling type of way, which, you know, they do provide that as well, but in some really cool sustainable products. So I hope you will check out Skagit Wool and Works. You'll see at some point in the video a close-up of their logo. Let's see. There we go. We'll open this up a bit. Make it easy for you guys. So the goodies in this bag are part of an upcoming project. So since I haven't been out here in a while, I'll share with you some plans. Because even though I've done a decent amount of knitting, very, very recently, like a few days ago, I decided it was time to start thinking about some new projects. And Jess showed up right on time with the third of 3 yarns that I want to use to make a pair of socks. So you'll see in the close-ups that I'm working with a yarn called Thistledown. So Jess, tell us about Thistledown.
So Thistledown's kind of been a passion project of ours, I would say, since we started the mill. My business partner Anna and I both love Shetland sheep, and Shetland wool in particular. It was one of the first fleeces we bought to play around with and process, and we have a lot of wonderful Shetland sheep small flocks, very small flocks in the region. And we found this one farm in particular, and through the luck of the pandemic, had a backstock of some fleeces that needed something done with them, and decided they were just too perfect to not be yarn. Sometimes we look at a fleece and say that's going to be something else, can't, you know, but when the everything strikes right and you've got the right staple length and you've got the right fiber qualities that we're looking for.
Yeah.
So we dye it in the lock in-house, turn it into roving, and then send it to our dear friends and mentors at Abundant Earth Fiber on Whidbey Island. They have spinners, we do not. So all of the yarn that we offer is spun by our sister mills, and Abundant Earth Fiber is one of them. Lydia, I'm sure many of you have heard of them. And we ended up with a beautiful 2-ply fingering weight, ideal for color work, and it's got some beautiful heathered colors to it because we dye it in the lock and then blend it. It's a very special project for us. I discovered that I really like figuring out all the parts of creating a yarn, from selecting the fleeces to talking it over with Anna of like, how are we gonna do this? What should we do? How much of each color should we make? How do we name it? What are we gonna call it? There's a lot that goes into it. This is a project that's at least a year in the making.
Wow.
And it takes that long to find the fiber, find the right people to partner with.
Love that though, because
so
that's meaningful.
Yeah.
If you're taking that amount of time for it to come together.
And it's truly, truly small batch. It's very micro small batch, as in this farm won't probably be making enough fleeces for us to continue it. So if we do continue the line, it'll be an amalgam of different fleeces. So, you know, we say pretty much every yarn we make is a limited edition because we're not sure if we can get it again, but that's what makes it special and have some intrinsic kind of soulful stash.
Soulful stash. If you've been to this podcast before, you'll recognize that phrase. I love the idea of you and Anna putting so much of your own sort of love of fiber into each of those limited edition batches, because that's part of what makes it soulful as well, is a couple of makers who are committed to local production, committed to community efforts behind a yarn line or a product line. I think that gets infused into the strands. And then folks like me get to enjoy making things with that yarn. I'm planning a sock project, no surprise. My friend Charlotte, who is the designer behind Stone Knits. Let's fix our lighting a bit here. Charlotte, who's been on the podcast, has a gorgeous colorwork sock book, and one of the first patterns in there that caught my eye was the blooming lavender socks. And it's essentially a light background with lavender plants, so the green stems and the actual lavender blossoms. So when I brought home my first Thistledown gift from Jess, which is in the color Fern, I immediately thought of my Middlebrook Fiberworks Private Reserve vintage yarn and how those two would go together. And because she was kind enough to give me more Shetland, getting the purple color makes it so that I can make my blooming lavender socks now. So I'm really excited about that project to come. Happy to support Charlotte, happy to support my friend Anne, who's a Shetland shepherdess, happy to support you and Anna and the mill. And that's what it's about. We call it Soulful Stash for many reasons. For me, this project will have memories of Jess's visit here. It'll connect me to some of my other maker friends. It's socks, so really, like, twist my arm. And I think that the intention behind a lot of how these yarns are made means a lot to me. You know, it's never just the knitting.
I love that you saw these two yarns, and Anne, who's a dear friend, and has Shetland sheep on the other coast.
Right.
And now we have bringing them together from one coast to the other in a beautiful project. And sometimes you get yarn and you don't know what it's going to be right away.
Yeah, that's true.
And you just let them snuggle up to each other.
And they really did. I had them twisted around each other for days, and I was like, no, they are going to live together. Yeah. My two friends belong in a project together.
And the inspiration strikes, and you see that and go, oh, bingo, now I know.
This is it.
So sometimes I think
just like that.
It's good to be intentional with our yarn purchases, absolutely, but sometimes letting that inspiration strike and
Yes.
that creative play happen of going, oh, I wonder what would happen if I put this together.
These together, exactly. I didn't even think about the fact until you just said it that this is literally a bi-coastal project. Just makes it that much more cool. So that is a future project for me. How about we'll switch it up and talk about current works in progress. What have you got on the needles, my friend?
So this is a project from Lina's 52 weeks of socks, which somebody had the opening pattern in. Intersection
socks, yes.
Which
That was the first Lina collection type of book, because Lina magazine certainly had patterns for a long time, and then they did a book collection. And yeah, my sock pattern Intersections was the first pattern, and to this day is one of my most popular patterns. Some cable knit socks, pretty proud of that. Yep. For those not in the know, we're working with our light here. You know, I never apologize for things like lighting because nature. Thank you. For those not in the know, Jess is also my tech editor. The technical term for her work with me and my patterns is tech editor, but I call her my pattern doula. She's the only reason a lot of my design work has been birthed into the world. So we've had the opportunity to work together a lot on different projects. So I think that means you know a good sock pattern.
I do.
When you see one.
And I have earmarked many of the patterns in that book when it came out, and one of them was the Bembe socks from Dawn Henderson.
Yeah.
And I love the simplicity of the pattern that looks very complex. It's just some garter stitch, some reverse stockinette and some plain stockinette in a clever pattern that's going to give some gorgeous texture. And I paired it with some Mrs. Farmer's Daughter fibers from a sock squad a couple years ago. This beautiful, I'm calling it my Florida green now because I thought I knew green till I came out here, and it's a totally different green here. And this is some really special yarn as well. It's a non-superwash 100% wool because that's how we like to make our socks. I've been looking forward to this project a really long time, and having a trip, I think when you suddenly say, okay, now I get to plan my travel projects.
Plan your travel, yes.
Then it becomes real. And
yes.
I messaged you and said, I get to plan my travel projects now, and this was one of them. So.
And that's when we knew that the trip was about to happen, because that's when you start thinking about that. You're right. And I love that also gets to become part of the memory of you being here. Hot tip from us: when you travel, check out the shades of green in the place that you are versus the shades of green where you live, because we've both noticed that that's one of the standout colors when you go somewhere else. Well, I think that's going to be beautiful, because I think you've chosen the yarn well for the type of stitch definition that you want in those. The yarn has a great feel to it. We love supporting Farmer's Daughter, another maker who's very community minded. So yeah, good stuff. Love it. I have a finished object to share, which is also sort of birthday weekend infused, because I finished it this weekend sitting and knitting and chatting with Jess. This is my Boneyard Shawl. Oh, I like how that looks.
Look at that color.
I love seeing all the colors together. Oh, I apologize. You guys know I don't like talking from behind things. I love seeing the colors together. It's giving sunset. This gradient.
Fire. It's giving fire.
It's giving fire. It's giving fireside. So this is a hand spun yarn. If you know the knitting expat, who is Mina Phillip, Mina spun this yarn and gifted it to me years ago. We all know, as Jess said, sometimes yarn waits for its perfect match and waits for inspiration to strike. So I just been looking at this lovely skein of hand spun for a long time, hanging up on a hook on my wall. I have not myself successfully spun a gradient, so it was already interesting to me. And Mina's a good spinner, so it was a lovely, consistent yarn. I just didn't know what I wanted to make with it, and I didn't know if it needed to be paired with something, didn't have a lot of ideas behind it. This is my 5th Boneyard Shawl for a reason. It is a pattern by Stephen West. It's one of his early patterns, and it's a simple triangle shawl that has a little bit of stockinette and garter ridge texture.
So it's a beautiful travel project or sort of mindless,
Yes.
mindful.
You're right.
Knitting.
It was purposely selected knowing that you were coming to visit, knowing that if I didn't finish it, the Thanksgiving holiday in the US is coming up. The reason I've knit 5 of these is because it is a comfort knit for me. It's not complicated at all. It's a free pattern. If you see this and you're interested, it really is knit stitches, a few purl stitches, and some increases, which you can do as yarn overs like I did. Or you can just do a simple make one increase so that you don't have the eyelet holes. So even within a simple structure, there's options, and you knit it as small or large as you want. This for me is kind of medium sized in that when I wear it bandana style like I tend to do, the ends are not that long, so they will tuck under and then it becomes sort of like a cowl fit, and I don't mind that.
And you made the most of the yarn. You used
I used the
bit.
entire skein. In fact, I had to add a small border in a stash yarn, which is just a plain black wool. And because the gradient is so well done, it's flowed right into that black yarn, and I'm super happy. That was Jess's suggestion when I realized that I lost at Yarn Chicken trying to do my preferred slightly stretchy bind off. Jess said, maybe you have another yarn that's just dark enough to pick up where the gradient left off, and sure enough, the black worked great for that. What else can I say about this? The fiber that Mina used to spin was from Fellview Fibers. I have spun from Fellview Fibers work before, highly recommend. Even to dye a bat in this beautiful gradient style, I think takes a lot of skill. And I think it just offered something to the spinner and the knitter in this case. So we love that. I still need to weave in my ends, and then it'll be finished. I will block it because I wouldn't mind it just opening up and being a little bit more drapey, and then it's done. Then I can wear it. If you notice any of the trees around us blowing, that tells you that the temperature has clicked 1 notch down from Hades in Florida. And so
I can wear a hat even.
it's time to be outside. It's time to wrap up our neck and chest. I'm excited because this is my favorite time of the year. To even be able to light a fire and enjoy it is a treat. So yeah, I will be doing all of the woolly shawls and things as I can. So yeah, we've covered works in progress, finished objects, soon to be projects. I have one other quick share. This is my work in progress. I found a pattern called Playful. It's a 2-color simple stripe shawl, and right now it's just a baby triangle. It just barely began early this morning with my first cup of coffee. But the yarn I've had, again, for years. Some gift yarn. Both of these are from different dyers, and I'll share the information for the actual yarns themselves in the description box. And the fact that they were gifted, I like the idea of making something with gift yarn if I can. I don't always have an idea of what it will be when I first receive it, but these two had actually been sitting together in my stash next to each other on purpose, because although they're from different yarn companies, so the shades within these two,
They're meant for each other. They're just clearly meant to be together.
when that happens, I know that at some point the project will come. The fact that the tones in one pick up on tones in the other, they're the same yarn weight, they're colors that I like. I feel like these are in the BrownBerry world. Anything red, brown is me. So if it's something that I'm going to wear for myself, I feel comfortable that the project will come, and it came. A post within a Discord group that I'm a part of was offering pattern suggestions to another maker for, again, free patterns that you can knit pretty simply, specifically with 2 yarns. And it was almost like that post was not meant for me, but it was meant for me, because I went looking at the collection that was suggested and found the perfect combination project for these two. Whoop. Well, now it's going to be dirt infused. There we go. That's what it needed. It needed some ground. So I am, for now, I'm knitting these on straights. I've actually I did some of this shawl on straight needles and thought, well, it's been a long time since my hands made those movements. I typically knit on circular needles. I often knit on DPNs, so I guess those are kind of like small straights. But as the shawl gets bigger, I'll need to move over to my circulars. But for now, it's giving me a chance to do just a different motion with my fingers. I like that sometimes.
And a beautiful material. There's something about using something with beautifully made materials, and it just makes you want to pick up that project.
Totally. Yeah, these are Lykke needles, Lykke. I have some of these in DPNs, circulars, and straights because I love their wood needles. They have a little bit of a nice finish on them. You use these too, right?
This and my bamboo chogus are my favorites. I love wood needles. They're my favorite.
Same. I go back and forth depending on the project and depending on the yarn, but wood has a warmth to it and just a slight give.
And it holds the stitches. I'm a loose knitter, and it holds the stitches better than a metal needle will. And so I discovered that when I switched to wooden needles, it has the right amount of slide for me and the right amount of grip. Some people need a different material based on their knitting style. So
true, that is true. The yarn comes into that. How much manipulating of the stitches you need to do comes into it too. What are your favorite needle materials out there, friends? Share in the comments below if you have a strong feeling one way or another about the types of needle materials that you like to work with or don't. You know, I'm always nosy about what's going on your side of any conversation. So I'm thinking that this will now be my sit at the holiday gathering project.
I now have been introduced to 2 shawls that I have to make.
Right.
Which is what I love about...
Sorry, not sorry.
I love about when we share what we're working on and we both go, oh, I didn't know about that. And now I'm already imagining the things that I have. Do I have some hand spun at home that I haven't been sure of what to do with? And that I'm positive I do. And seeing the way the gradient works in the Boneyard Shawl, and then seeing the photographs, the simplicity of this pattern, but also this is just another row. Even though it's just a simple 2-color,
completely.
Very much just a couple more rows.
One more stripe. I'm almost at the end of this anyway. Let's keep going. It's completely that already. I can tell just a few rows in that because I can sit and talk to you while I'm making it, because I love the colors going in, it's going to be something that I'll feel really good about working on. And we had this conversation about how we can sometimes, I'll speak for myself, sometimes I can get stuck at the point of, why would I make another shawl? Do I need another shawl? I probably didn't need a second shawl after my first ever shawl, but here we are several shawls later. And I have moments where thinking about need or not need keeps me from starting the project. I will share with you all that what's gotten me through that point when I know that what I need is the stitching, I really just need the making time, is I just tell myself, maybe this shawl will belong to someone else when I'm done. Maybe it will get gifted to a charitable organization. Maybe it'll get gifted to a friend. Maybe I will let it sit in my closet until one day I just want to reach for it. And that comes from recognizing that what I need is the making. And that in this moment, the project itself is not necessarily something that should be measured according to need.
You found some skeins in your stash that you wanted to make use of, so that's one nice purpose of it. And then sometimes, we were talking about when we spin something.
Yeah.
And did you have a project in mind for it? No, the finished object is the yarn. That's it. Sometimes that's all that's going to be.
Yes.
And that's okay. And if it gives you value to look at it, to hang it on your wall, to drape it across a couch for a while, and then say, I just found the perfect person to get that to.
Yes.
You got multiple joys out of that.
A lot of good making moments. Real.
Tell me you're getting this.
Sorry guys, we had a battery incident, and also now we're just waiting for the smoke to...
Smoke follows beauty. We can't help that.
I feel like we should burst into song or something.
This is our band. We're video promotion.
Headlining. Smoke machine. So I love the breeze, so I can't even complain. It's been months of waiting for a breeze. our battery situation cut us off a little bit in conversation, but I think you get the gist, which is let the purpose of the thing come.
Absolutely.
I'm always trying to remind myself and others to be more gentle in the way that you talk to yourself and treat yourself with your making, because it matters. So why add the stress of I'm not sure where this thing will land?
And if something calls to you to, support somebody and purchase it, and you're feeling that little bit of guilt afterwards,
right?
Sometimes just having that in your space and looking at it and remembering where you were when you bought it, who you were with, that don't discount the meaningfulness of that. It gives you joy to look at it. We sometimes say, knitting is my therapy. There's a reason for that. Sometimes the money that you're spending on that yarn is money you're actually spending on yourself. And on your joy and on your, creativity. So.
Yep. The time as well. The time that you're giving yourself to make that thing is valuable time, and sometimes you're doing that knowing that you have a lot of other things to give your time to.
And this is coming from people who are very mindful about what we bring into our spaces.
Yeah. It's not a promotion to just consume in any way. It's more a promotion to let go of any additional pressure.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So we have, as Jess said, spent time doing things that we already enjoy, and then kind of doubling the joy by doing it together. And one of those things I've been able to witness is Jess working on a project that's connected to a collaboration that you're doing at the mill. I have witnessed Jess from the baby day one stages of business ownership, and I commend you for starting from the beginning as a collaborative business, as a collaborative organization. Jess has been working on a new project that I wanted her to share with you guys. So tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, I think when we opened up the mill, one of the first things we thought of was like, let's not make this about just us and what we're doing, but how can we highlight what other makers are doing, highlight what other folks in the region are doing, and collaboration is the key to that. And I had the chance to finally meet a dear friend and a designer who I've worked with in the past, Aimee Sher, at Flock earlier this year, Flock Fiber Festival in Seattle. And we were vendors there, and she was a featured guest. She just released something called the Friendship Pullover, which is a beautiful cabled pullover using La Bien-Aimée. And after that, she messaged to say, hey, I'm going to make this into a pillow cushion as well. I see you all make throw pillow inserts with your wool.
Woolly ones.
Could we use that? So Mars mentioned that we're doing some different things in the mill. One of the things we do is sometimes not all of the wool in the world is meant to be, next to your skin soft or meant to be into yarn. And we are a zero waste wool mill, which means everything that comes to us, we try to put it into something.
Yep.
And a lot of wool in the region where we're at is perfect for stuffing. It's perfect for, it's poofy. It's perfect for a bat or something. And so the Friendship cushion is out now from Aimee Sher.
Go get it.
And it's a beautiful cable detailed up along the front of it, and just a simple sweet detail on the back where you button it closed around whatever stuffing you use. And I wanted to make a sample for the mill, so I chose local wool from a dear friend in the San Juan Islands, San Juan Wool Works, Sarah Pope.
Hi, Sarah.
Love you dearly. Love you and the work you're doing. She is a fellow frequent collaborator of ours, and she's got a fantastic yarn called Luff. It is from her North Country Cheviots, and it is, I think more people need to be aware of the benefits of a bouncy down wool breed. It's got some just loft and beautiful structure for the cables. It's hard wearing, so if you're as hard on your throw pillows and cushions as I am, I know it'll live up to the task. And so had a chance to bind off here, which means I got to stitch some really good memories into it and then block it here. So I'm infusing some Florida sunshine into the project, so every time I snuggle up to that will be a special memory for me. And it's connecting me to my friend Aimee, and it's connecting me to my friend Sarah, and then it's connecting me back to the work I'm doing, which is trying to pull in just bring in all of the wool products, bring
Yes.
wool into your home,
Yep.
bring new makers into your space, and have that be just a really special, meaningful project. And it's a joy to get you to in on that and share that with me.
So Jess is not a person who will toot her own horn, but I asked her to share that because first of all, the wool itself was new to me. I really feel lucky to see the project like in real life. It's a gorgeous homeware accessory that I think pulls in makers who maybe aren't doing garments. Maybe they're not into, things like that for themselves, but they would love to make something beautiful for their space or as a gift for someone. So to do a project that pulls in more people, I'm down for that.
Yeah, maybe somebody's knit worthy.
Yes.
But you don't know their style for a hat, for some socks, for a sweater. But gifting them something like something that they can use in their home and something that they can keep near them and literally hug.
Yeah.
Literally hug.
Because the wool is squishy as the cover. The stuffing in the pillow itself is squishy, so you could be hard on it because you want to just squeeze it. I think that the time it takes to makes it a really good giftable project too.
Yes,
right?
I would say it's designed to be worked in kind of an Aran weight, bulky weight yarn, which we know that this is the time of year where maybe a little bit of panic arises.
Yep.
Some gift knitting needs to happen.
Yep.
And bulky yarn is your friend.
Totally. For something that you can feel good about in the end, right? So I would say check out the link below to the friendship cushion pattern. Connect with the makers that Jess mentioned because they're people that we support, and it's just another way to find out who's doing what in our community. A lot of folks are really skilled in one area, and then when you combine their skills with the skills of another, it just double, triples, makes everything so much cooler. Hello, loves. I thought I would pop in here with a bit of a surprise for the episode. How about a giveaway? The friendship pillow that Jess is working on is part of a collaborative project, as she mentioned, and I wanted to give away one of the kits to make your own friendship pillow to one of you. So, as a thank you for coming to join me over here in the heyBrownBerry corner of the internet, I'm going to give away a kit for a 14 by 14 inch friendship pillow kit. Now the kit you are going to get from Skagit Wool Works, but it includes items from several makers. You'll get yarn to knit the gorgeous pattern by Aimee Sher. You'll get wool tincture, and you have your choice of colors, and the wool tincture is a dye packet with instructions on how to dye the natural colored yarn that comes from abundant earth fiber. If you've never dyed before, highly recommend it. This will be an easy way for you to dip your toe into yet another wonderful making adventure. The wool is North Country Cheviot, and that comes from San Juan Woolworks. And the shepherdess, Sarah, is an amazing human who takes care of some beautiful sheep. You're going to love this yarn. You'll get the 14 by 14 inch pillow from Skagit Wool Works, stuffed with gorgeous local wools and ready for your cabled friendship pattern cover. I can't wait to give away one of these to one of you, and all you have to do is comment on this episode and you'll be entered to win. If you don't want to win the kit for some reason, please just indicate that in your comment, but anyone who comments and doesn't say otherwise will be entered to win, and I'll make an announcement in my next episode of the winner. Okay, I hope that you enjoy this way to participate in this collaboration, and thank you so much for being with me. Back to the episode. I feel lucky as a person on the making end to be exposed to some of these kinds of projects because I just get to take it all in, and I'm very proud of you. I think it's awesome.
And give me any chance to tout local wool, American-made wool, bringing back the importance of supporting small family fibers, farms, mills, independent designers. It kind of brings all of that together. You know that's right. Both of our passions is to support those small family farms that are growing the things that we love and need
Yeah.
and need to support and need to, if we love it and want it to continue, this is how we do
That's
that.
the part. Yeah, all of you out here that have been here before know that I'm for the farm wool. I'm for the small batch. I have been in the design world for a little while. Those are small businesses that need support. The shepherds and shepherdesses that are taking care of the sheep need support. So good on you, friend.
Give me any excuse.
Yeah,
Any excuse.
and you got to do some knitting. I
Yeah.
mean, you know,
What's wrong with that?
within all of that. So one of the last things we wanted to share with you was what became of our natural dye shenanigans. We're going to do probably the second to last step in the process, which is to get Jess's Slipover project out of the dye pot. And
I haven't seen it, so
This
there
is
will
gonna
be
be-
there will be a reveal. I don't know what's gonna come out.
this is going to be interesting. What Jess was looking for was a warmer, wouldn't you say, a warmer shade, something that was more, goes with your wardrobe and
Yeah.
kind of fits some of your existing stuff. So we're going to hope that sitting in the bath all day yesterday, the dye bath, sitting in the dye bath overnight, just kind of unbothered, we're going to hope that the result is what we're looking for.
We're looking for maybe some terracotta, some rust,
Yeah.
something, and this was a learning curve and experiment
Yeah.
on multiple levels, because the yarn we're using is a 50-50 wool
Right,
cotton.
that
So we've got
too.
a protein fiber and a
And a
cellulose
cellulose.
fiber.
Yeah.
So when we get into some experimentation, we're not afraid to say we don't know how that's going to
No
work.
idea what will happen.
Oh well, find out.
We've both done some natural dyeing before, and sometimes you get what you expect and sometimes you don't.
That's the joy of it. That's just the joy of it for
Want to
me.
come along for a reveal? Let's go. We've got Jess's, what are we calling it, a slipover in here? It's like a vest.
Sleeveless
Tank top. Let's see. Getting my workout. So, okay, we have come out to the front lawn because if we're going to have any dye spillage or anything like that, it's fine if it gets into the grass. It's plant-based dyes. We have a little bit of soda ash in there, nothing too detrimental to the plant life out here. So we've got some samples to show you a bit of the difference in what we've dyed so that you can see what the original yarn looked like versus some version of what we think we're going to see when we pull out this top. Okay, Jess, tell us. That's the original, right?
This is the original, and again, it's a 50-50 wool cotton, so you can see the little bits of white in here. That's the cotton, so you get that heathered look.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with this color, but just against my skin and for what I wear, I wanted just something a little bit brighter and a little bit warmer.
So you've got an example of what we think might be the minimum shift of color from Kutch and some soda ash.
And I'm already seeing there's some peachy bits and some warmer oranges in here where you can see where maybe the cotton and wool have picked it up ever so slightly differently, and I actually really love that. That's already a tone that for me feels more wearable and is going to look really nice. I hope you agree that to me that's a
Yes.
vast improvement.
stark difference. That's the color play that we were talking about. Just seeing something like that based on a certain mix with the dye extracts is a lot of fun. My suspicion is that your top is going to actually be even a bit darker than our sample from yesterday, because once we figured out some proportions, not too terribly precise, but we figured out some proportions that we thought might give us an even warmer, browner color. That's what I think we'll see. But here we go. We've got the pot out. We have a bucket to put the top in when it comes out. Do you want some gloves? If you do, we can.
Nah.
Good. All right, go for it.
All right, the big reveal.
So you
That's
can't
dark.
even see into the dye.
That's murky. That's murky. It's really red.
It's sort of a wine color almost.
There we go. You can kind of start seeing. There's a little peak. Oh, it's already good. Okay, here we go.
So this has had hours and hours and hours to sort of soak in.
Oh my word.
Our suspicion was right.
So look at that.
Wow.
It's almost like a winey color, but over that base, we've got this warm, orangey,
reddish. This is a brownberry color.
This is a brownberry color.
1000%,
and
I
this,
think it's what you were after, yeah?
and this bath is gonna keep giving for you
Yes.
to have more to play with, because there's obviously a lot of color in there.
That's Kutch, and it's a dye that I've used before, but learning how to get the specific shade by using something like soda ash has been an awesome learning for me. How are you feeling about it?
I already love it. And I know that it'll dry. Maybe we've got a little bit of darker spots in here. That's okay, especially with the texture of this.
Yep.
We'll put some information on what this pattern is. It is not out yet, but it will be coming out in spring of next year from Making Stories magazine.
Nice.
And it's called the Ruegen top. And I think this is gonna be very wearable. There's a reason I brought it to Florida.
Yeah.
Wool, cotton, good combo. And I think that,
Let's see the difference.
look at that. I know that's wet, but still huge,
Wow.
huge difference there.
Wow. A whole different color family almost. Although it is really in the same color family because we had that base and we did a modifier, really.
And
Little over dye.
some people might be thinking, I like the original color. That's fine.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's nothing wrong with it. It was a good color, but I wanted something peachier, warmer, and I think we achieved that.
Yay.
I'm happy. I'm very happy with it.
Happy maker. Good job. I think you were very open in this process. I think that that's why we got here, is you were like, let's try it. Let's see what happens.
Can't be precious about it. And if for some reason I still don't like it,
Yeah.
there's always black walnut.
That's right. We can go another shade. We can tick it over into another realm. I love that. I would say sampling was good for us.
Absolutely.
So you had a bit of the yarn left over.
Yep.
And we tried three different combinations that we thought would land in the shade that you were looking for. And we went with the one that was deepest and darkest, I think.
And made us the happiest. And
Yeah.
went, that's the one.
Yay! Good job, friend.
Thank you.
We're gonna
Thank you for making it happen.
We're gonna squeeze this bad boy out and let it dry. Just cut in little bits. Expert blocking techniques, folks.
This is patented process.
Nice.
You all are so.
The spectrum. Can you not cover the spectrum, camera? Okay, friends. We've come to the end of another Hey Brownberry episode. As always, it is my pleasure to share with you where I am in my making journey, and I hope you enjoyed this extra special splash of my dearest friend and what we've been up to for the last few days. It's been so much fun, and I don't want to think about it being over. But because of all of you and this community in my corner of the internet, I now have this to preserve some beautiful moments from the weekend. I wish for you moments like this that make you feel like your joy is doubled. I hope you continue to play and experiment, and I hope you'll come back and visit with me again another time. And that includes you. I hope you will also come back and visit. We are now most likely going to go check out some more Florida sites if we can help it before Jess heads back. All the links for information we talked about will be in the description box below, and I will look forward to seeing you again next time. Bye for now. Mwah. Bye.